Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Command Encounter. I am your host Brad, here with a very different game, non-game actually, we would say, for you. I have Celestial Winner to my left. Yeah. Hey Celestial, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. I am super happy to be here.
Yeah, so what's funny is it is both of our 1 year anniversary. We both started putting out cEDH content around the same time, within a week of each other. And we actually kind of connected really early on when we first started. And it's been an awesome year, growing with you and learning things. Matt's taught me a lot of things about like recording and different ways to upload files and things like that. So we kind of grew together and kind of it's been a great journey with each other. So we thought we'd do something a little different and kind of just go through a little bit about ourselves and have a little interview. So excited to have you on.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be on as well. And the first thing that I want to say, which is it's kind of like a little almost introduction to the interview thing. It's funny because like we did connect really super early on because you were actually the person that cemented in me being able to record because I was playing a game in the Play to Win Discord server and it was like maybe my third or fourth game ever playing and you were in it, and you started out the game with like, "Hey guys, you mind if I record this game and everything?" And we were all like, "Yeah, sure, that's no problem." And you started recording, and I thought to myself, I was like, "Man, is it really that easy? Like to
Yeah,
just
it is.
obviously content creation. I mean, content creation is not nearly that easy, but like I was like, wow, I could just record a game with people. Like, does that
Yeah.
work?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and shout
and
out to
it went
TTC
from
because he's
there.
the one that exact thing happened to me, and I was like, "Hey," so I've been putting out AOS content for a long time. I was like, just record these, and I mean, I'm playing every night. I might as well record them and put them out there. So yeah, let's just get into it, and yeah, you're gonna learn a lot about us today. So thanks everybody for joining.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you all. So, do you wanna go ahead and throw out the first question, or do you want me to?
Yeah, why don't you can kick us off? I'll have you kick us off.
Okay. Well, I think a big one for me, since we're all, it's Magic and everything, how long have you been playing Magic for? Not just CEDH, just Magic in general.
Yeah, so I've been playing Magic since the early 90s, probably like 96, 97 is when I started. We didn't know any rules of the game, didn't understand any of it. Just started buying. I didn't actually buy cards. When I first started playing, I had a neighbor, Ryan, who was older than me, and my friend Sean, and we used to just go to his house, and he had like the cards, and we'd just like build decks out of them, like little 40 card decks, and then we'd just play games against each other, not understanding the rules. We didn't know how much life we were supposed to have. Like, we thought walls blocked everybody, so like walls would just block like
Oh,
8 guys coming at you. So we didn't really know the rules, but that's where I kind of started. And then didn't get into like competitive Magic until around like a little before Dark Steel. That's where Dark Steel and Mirrodin is where I really started playing as like a 12-year-old kid, going out to maybe 12, 13, going playing at like my local events and get my butt kicked in by people that have been playing the game competitively way longer than me. But yeah, I've been playing ever since, on and off, many years, for a very long time.
wow. 90, 96 or 97. Didn't
Somewhere
Magic
around
come
there.
out in like
93.
93 or 9?
Hmm.
Dude,
If I
that's
only was
crazy that you've been
buying
playing this long.
packages, like if I was only buying cards back then. But yeah, we my
Oh man.
one buddy, he had all the cards, and we just show up at his house and build decks out of whatever he had. And there's just really bad, just pure creature decks. Didn't really understand like any of the nuances of the game at that point, but still a lot of fun.
Okay, I have to ask since you were playing at that point, do you
Yeah.
remember, did you ever touch a Black Lotus?
No,
Did your
not
buddy ever
really.
have a Black Lotus?
I knew
Ah,
a guy
damn,
with
that
a
means
Black Lotus, but it was way late when Black Lotuses were already worth a lot of money, and he had it in his like a safe. so he, I never got to see it, but he's always like a Black Lotus at my bank because he just kept it in like a safety deposit box.
Oh,
But yeah,
jeez.
so I've
Okay.
never touched one,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
hope to one
Me
day,
neither.
maybe one day. How about you? When did you get
Oh, yeah.
started?
Yeah, right? So, not significantly later than you, I'll say. I actually, it's funny. I grew up playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay,
And a friend of mine during the days of the Xbox 360 was like, "Yo, you should get this game on the Xbox
Magic
360."
the
It was like
Gathering
Magic
for yeah,
2013 or something.
yeah.
Yeah,
Was that
Magic
the
the
one where
Gathering,
you
like
actually had a
2013
dude
or
and you
something
like
like
ran
that.
around as you cast your spells, or was that Xbox?
No, no, no. No, this was all like
Like
pure it was
Arena?
like pure 60 card. Yeah, it was like Arena, but with like a significantly smaller database. Like it had pre-structured decks. So your pre-structured deck, there were 60 card decks,
Hmm.
but as you played with the deck and leveled up with the deck, you could unlock more cards for that deck specifically.
Okay,
And then like you could eventually have like up to like 100 choices,
okay.
but they were only for that deck. Like you couldn't build any other decks. It was just like so you had like you start out with mono red, mono black, mono green, um, mono white, and mono blue, and you can unlock cards for those decks
Hmm.
specifically. And then there were like some expansions that brought other ones in, but like you couldn't build your
Yeah.
own decks. It was all you had to pick one of those decks
Right.
type of deal.
I remember. So I found it was just called Magic the Gathering, I believe, for Xbox, and you literally like
Yeah.
it was like you didn't really have a deck. You just needed to get enough mana to cast certain things, but you could like add things to your caster. But it was really weird because there was like a line in the middle, it was like a volleyball net in the middle, and then you would run around and cast your spells. So like if you cast a lightning bolt, like it would shoot across the map, but the person could like dodge it, and then they would be casting like
Hmm.
creatures at you, and then you'd like build up creatures, and then they'd like hit in the middle and
Oh
fight,
wow.
and if you like had trample, it would kill it and keep going, and like you would try to like run away. It was a
Jeez.
really weird, wonky way to like try to play Magic. But I always remember when that game came
Yeah.
out, I was like, this is what Magic would look like in real life. Like, oh my god, and got so excited and played that.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
that's when you talk about
But
Magic
yes,
video games, that's what comes to my mind is that terrible version of Magic the
yeah.
Gathering.
So for me, well, I started officially, it was somewhere around the year 2013,
Okay.
2012, um, somewhere in that ballpark is when I started playing that video game when I started learning the rules of Magic. But then as for like actual paper Magic, I didn't really start that until like oh geez, that might not have been. I think it was like 2018.
Okay.
Like is when I actually started doing paper Magic. Um,
Yeah.
Which,
I
yeah, definitely a lot later than you.
yeah. Hey. Well, for me, yeah. I mean, my big thing. I got into competitive Magic probably around 16. Got really serious around for modern probably around maybe 1920. This is when I used to travel all around the Midwest playing in modern tournaments. A lot of us, Star City
Oh, wow.
games. Went to many of those events. Topped, never top eight, but definitely got up there many times, but never got to the top eight. But yeah, just long
Wow.
time. Then played Legacy for a while. Commander, as soon as it came out, I started playing Commander. Then I got into like competitive Commander fairly when competitive started becoming a thing. I started playing Teferi Temporal Archmage, and that was my deck for like 5 years straight because I had all the real cards, built the deck, and like there was no way I was ever gonna spend another dollar on like another CDH deck. I was
Mhm.
like, mono blue, this is it. I get all the basic lands, don't have to buy any crazy Gaia's Cradles or anything. So I played that for a really long time. So I'm a really good Teferi player. One day I'll have to put that deck back together and bust it out. But I love Chainveil Teferi. It's my favorite deck of all time.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I never really played competitively until I started doing CEDH. It was all like tabletop. Magic, and then I eventually got into Commander, and then it was like tabletop Commander, and then I eventually, playing
Tell
at
me,
like your LGS and everything. And then
yeah,
Mhm.
tell me the story of what made you want to play cEDH. Like, when was the moment you were like, "All right, I'm getting a little too advanced for the tables that I'm at. Like, I gotta find I gotta find my outlet." You know, because every cEDH player knows this moment where they were like, "Okay, I think I need to like move up a tier because like nobody likes me anymore."
Yeah. Yeah. So it's funny. It's funny that you put that. It was the moment where I really, really upset my friends by just we got together to play one night and I just pulled off I was playing Zack Sara, the Hydra, the X Hydra, X
Okay.
tribal that like it can tap to add 2 mana of
Mhm.
any color combination. And I pulled off I had like Freed from the Real and that stuff in there, which combos with Zexara. And so like I pulled off like 3 infinite mana combos and won 3 games in a row, and my friends got, like, really mad at me, and rightly so, right? Because, like, that's not what casual is about.
Right.
This was when we still, you know
Yeah.
this is back when everybody had a power level
It's
7
7. It's 7.
deck, regardless of what it was. It was always power level 7. It's a 7. It was a 7.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Um,
7.
and it was at that moment I was like, "Oh, wow, maybe I'm going a little too hard for this, and I need to start exploring other avenues." And then I actually stumbled across play to win content. I was like, "Ooh, this starts to feel more," because at that point I really started to feel, and we'll probably end up getting more into this later. I don't play casual anymore
Mhm.
because it was at that point that I really started to feel like the friction with casual, and how like just the
There's there's
miscommunication
more feel bad
and
moments
all
in
of
casual than anything. Like,
yes, exactly. And so, like, I was watching play to win content, and I'm like, wow, like, everybody's on the same page. Everybody's just trying to do that thing. Like, I kind of want to find some people to do that. Now, it took me a while to find people to play CDH with, but I was really happy to do that. So,
yeah.
but how about you? What was your moment?
So, I was in a league where you won a ton of money if you won it. Like, first to fourth
Mm,
place. It's like 3-month league for Commander. I started playing in that um, fairly, after Commander started becoming a thing. They started having this league, a couple years after. So I started playing in that league. I ended up building a Arcanus the Omnipotent Commander deck. And I
okay.
specifically, this league was built, it wasn't like just win a bunch of games like a tournament. It was who at the end of the league has the most farmed points. So it wasn't just about winning. If you knock somebody out, you got
Okay.
like 3 points. If you killed everybody at the same time, you only got 3 points. So killing people one at a time was better than just killing the whole table.
Okay.
There was rules like if you played Soul Ring before turn 3, you lose 2 points. If you so there was a lot of these like rules that were meant to say, hey, do
Hmm.
you want to go for the points or you want to try to like crush everybody at the table? So I and then you got points if you save somebody else from dying. You got like 2 points if somebody was gonna die and you save them. So I built this mono blue deck to completely abuse the point system, and it was Arcanus the Omnipotent, and it was like the only deck I ever uh, built as like cEDH without being cEDH. Like, I had no like moxes or anything like that. Those were
Okay.
you lost points if you had 0 drop ramp artifacts in your deck. So like once again, it was very built for like more of a casual setting, but still like there's a huge prize payout at the end for whoever wins. So I built this deck to like save people's lives from dying, then taking control of everybody's turn, and then killing everybody through everybody else's turn and stuff like that. So it was a really broken deck that destroyed and was very good in point farming. And it was kind of that moment where I was playing that league and I think I took like second place. I didn't take first, but um, it was in that league where I was kind of like, ooh, I like really like the idea of building like these decks for this these certain rules, and then playing with my buddies, I'd always bust out that deck. Then that turned into a deck that was not allowed to be played with my friends. So like nobody would allow me to play it. So then I kind of got in this like, I need to find people that want to play this level that I'm playing at. And that's kind of when cEDH kind of got brought up to me by another person at the LGS. And they're like, hey, have you ever played cEDH? And I was like, what's that? And then that's where I built Teferi, Temporal Archmage, because that was cool. Like Gitrog was the thing at that time, right? And like Teferi was
Mm.
pretty awesome back then. So um, I'm a mono blue player at heart, even though if you watch all my videos, you'll be like, why does he never play blue? Mono blue is my favorite color. Blue is my favorite color, and I've always been a person that always likes to take the harder road. So I try not to play blue, even though it's probably what my best color I play with, which is why I'm building VV. So I'll finally have like a real blue deck. I mean, Tivit's blue, but and that deck slaps. But yeah, so I
Mhm.
tend to try to stay away from blue just because I'm like I don't want to counter. Like I'm gonna do this the hard way. I'm gonna beat you guys without counter spells and without Rhystic studies. Let's go. So I always like to give
Nice,
myself a little challenge. So yeah,
nice.
that's kind of where I came from and got into CDH. And yeah, I still play casual, not as much, but even when I play casual, I try to dumb my decks down depending on the play group I'm playing with. Just as somebody that plays so much Magic, people kind of get you can get frustrated with like the amount of detail you put into things, or where you're like, hey, you cast that instant sorcery speed, like you should like I need to not like nitpick at what people are doing, but at the end of the day I'm just trying to help them get better. And some people take that the wrong way and some people take that a good way. They'll be like, oh, you're right, like why am I casting this at instant speed or at sorcery speed when it's an instant I could save to the end of your turn? And I'm like, yeah, just save it, like you could, something better might come along.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's where I kind of got more into
Mhm.
CDH, where I'm like, I just I want to play people that are you know highly competitive. I'm highly competitive, and that's kind of where I got into it.
Okay. Well, I was my next question for you was going to be what was your first CDH deck, but you've already
Oh
answered
yeah.
that rather well. It's a
Chained over the
very
Fairy.
temporal
I'm a
archmage.
stacks player at heart. I've been playing Hate Bears my whole life for modern. Yeah, Death and Taxes and Legacy. So I've always been a fan of taking people off their lands. Been a fan of not letting people search, like those kind of things. That is, that is where my heart lies, is stacks. Even though stacks isn't great right now in CDH, but if you've noticed my
Mhm.
decks, there's always a little stacks here and there sprinkled in.
Yeah,
Little Karn here
yeah.
or a
Little
you know
Karn, the great creator. Oh, fuck
your
that card.
favorite, your
Fuck
favorite.
that card.
What about you?
My,
What was
my
your first
favorite. My
CDH
favorite.
CDH deck?
Um, so it'll probably come as no surprise. My first CDH deck was Kess Dissident Mage, which I still have
Yeah,
together. I don't
I
have
always still throw it away.
that
Version,
one,
yeah, but
but Kess was the original CDH deck I played, and it was the Turbo Nas deck. I was, ever since the beginning of CDH, I was trying to win as fast as I possibly could. That
yeah,
was always my goal. So Kess, it was always Turbo Nas, try to get that Thoracle consult down. Because that was right around the time I started playing CDH was um I started playing CDH right at the end of the Flash meta. So it was before I fully realized that the Flash meta was a thing. And by the time I realized it was a thing, Flash had been banned.
band, yeah,
But that's right when I started playing. Yeah, that was right when I started playing CDH. Was right at the end of the Flash meta, and so Thoracle Consult was a thing there, and that's just trying to jam that and Turbo
yeah. I
Nas
mean,
Kess.
it's the
That was my first CDH
best
deck.
way to win in the format. So why not go for it, right? Play the best
Hmm.
way to win.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, and Turbo has just stuck with me ever since,
Yeah, I
as
can
everyone
tell.
can tell.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome. So like
Yeah.
obviously you love CEDH or you wouldn't have a channel. Um why why
Mhm.
why do you specifically love CEDH enough to grind hours of your life into editing videos, getting them out there, keeping a Discord community going, like all these things. Like somebody truly has to love this game to be putting forth that kind of effort, into something that you
Mhm.
love. So yeah, tell me about that. What about CDH like gets your gears turning, and what about it is something you makes you passionate about it to do all those things?
So it's interesting. I wouldn't necessarily say that it is CDH that does that for me.
Hmm.
Um, at the core, what makes me like want to do the content creation, do the grind, do the YouTube stuff, the Discord, everything is the community. It is the people.
Yeah, 100%.
That is
The
and that is
gathering,
and always
if you will.
will. Yes, the gathering. That is and always will be my number one favorite thing about it. I love meeting new people. I love connecting with new people. I love like just going to the play to win tournament and having people come up to me and be like, "Oh, yo, are you that guy?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then like just sitting there and talking with this person. This last tournament I went to,
Mhm.
they're like, "Hey, are you the guy who plays Thrasios Yoshimaru on that channel?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am the guy who does."
The
And so then we talked
OG,
about
the
Thrasios
OG
Yoshimaru. Yeah,
Thrasios
right.
Shimari player.
Yeah, the first deck to really be big on the channel. Yeah, and so like for me, that is the thing. It is the gathering. It's don't get me wrong. I love CDH. I love
Mhm.
Magic, and I think if I were to pick a game to play, it's obviously this one because I
Yeah,
enjoy playing it. But it's the people. It's everybody who's watching this video currently. It's everybody that I talk to in Discord. Everybody that I collaborate with. You TTC. Um, so many people out there at this point. Like it's all of
yeah,
that, and that's what does it for me.
awesome. That's good.
So I
That's
mean, I guess same thing. Yeah, same thing. Fired back at you, Brad. What about
Yeah,
you?
for me, I would have to say first and foremost, it's the competitiveness. I'm not community. Love the community. I'm obviously an introvert for
Mhm.
sure. No, I'm just kidding. I'm complete extrovert. Love to talk to people. Love to hang out with people nonstop. This definitely gives me that ability to like always be hanging out, getting to know lots of new people. But at the core, CDH is my competitive outlet. I grew up playing a lot of sports, hurt myself, tore my ACL, broke my ankles a couple times. Kind of got to that point where I had to, I can't just keep hurting myself, especially like getting older. So like CDH was like my outlet, right? Like I'm a very, very competitive person. So this was my outlet to be like, hey, I can just like try to win with my mind. Like what a great like game to just like the most statistically complicated game ever created. Scientifically, this is the most complicated game ever created, like through science. Like they did all the an algorithm to see what was the most complicated game and hardest game to play. It is Magic the Gathering. So to sit there and be able to try to be the best at something that is so complicated and so complex, and there's so many nuances and new abilities that come out and things like that. Like I love just building decks and trying to figure out a way how to like build the best deck or get the best out of something. So for me, like that competitive drive is something that really pushes me. And then next to that, the community. There's no better community than the Magic community. I've met tons of wonderful people, have tons of great relationships, people that like still have never met you in person. It's been a year, but like we talk all the time,
Yep.
we hang out all the time, we grind games, we test decks together, all the like magic theory conversation. That stuff just uh,
Mhm.
it gets my brain turning, and that's just something that I've always just loved. So yeah, I agree. The community is a wonderful thing. Tons of new people, and
Yeah.
I love, like you said, I went to that tournament land go, and I had a couple people come up to me. That was pretty cool. Just being like, hey, like I love your Atali videos, and I'm like, oh sweet, yeah, I love Atali, and oh hey, you play Ketchamos.
Yeah.
Met another fellow Ketchamos player named Nathan at he was the only other Ketchamos player at Land Go. So like we were the two Ketchamos entered decks, and we looked online.
Mm,
There has only been
nice.
two players that have entered Ketchamos into large tournaments, and it is the two of us. So we got that going
That's
for
awesome.
us. So
That's great. That's really great. You know. So I mean, I guess it's my turn for a question now, and kind of along kind of along that line there. You know, you're talking about catcher modes and that being your thing. And in the CDH. So, what is your favorite CDH deck, or what's your list, your ranking? Because obviously you play a couple different ones I've
Play a
seen.
lot of decks. Yeah.
What's like your yeah right? What's your favorite or like tiebreaker or whatever?
Yeah. So I would have to say favorite will go. It's close between Jolly Balloon Man and Ketchermos. Those are my babies. Those are like two decks that I feel like I birthed, um, into existence
Yeah.
and put so much time and effort into creating it from scratch before, like when it leaked and nobody had any like decks out about it yet, and I was sitting there trying to find every card that exists on the planet that fit with like Jolly Balloon Man or Ketchermos, and those are just really fun times to think about. So like as my favorite deck, I'd have to say it's still probably Jolly Balloon Man because that was like my first deck I really like put all my heart and soul into as like this Kiki Jiki type combo deck that's creature based, and the reason I went with it was it's all creature based combos which are harder to counter for blue players. So you get around a lot of rule law effects and things like that. So I really like the thought that went into that deck, to get around the current meta and get around blue, and also like abuse certain things and stop certain people from doing certain things. So I'd probably have to say like yeah, if I was gonna go to a tournament, I brought Ketchamos last time, but I think Jolly Balloon Man is like more consistent. So I'd probably say Jolly Balloon Man, followed by Ketchamos, then um, I think Tivit is another one. Probably Atali after that, then Tivit. I play a lot of decks. um, Somewhere after that would probably be possibly Deadpool after Tivit, and then after that, it's probably Rogray. That deck hurts your brain a lot. So super fun deck, but it's like all in. Like there's no going back. Like you're
Hmm.
just like, did I win? And everybody's like, no, and you're like, oh okay. Or you're like, did I win? And people are like, yeah, we didn't do
Yeah.
anything. You're like, sweet. I love that about that deck. But so that's probably my order. I might be missing something. I mean, obviously, Teferi Temporal Archmage might actually be. I don't play it anymore, but it's still got to be up there. It's like my first baby. But I got to put that deck together again and see how it works in this meta because it plays no creatures, so it'd be very interesting in such a heavy creature meta.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
What about you? What's kind of take me through what's your favorite CDH deck currently?
So, I mean, man, favorite decks, that's tough because I feel like there's an answer I'm supposed to have. I
Right.
feel like there's an answer that's correct, and then I feel like there's the answer I want I want to
No, I
answer,
know that's a
you
tough
know?
question. That's why I was like,
Right. I feel like the answer I'm supposed to say is Thrasios Yoshimaru. Um, I played that deck a lot. I really enjoyed that deck. That was the deck that really got me back into CDH because I was about to kind of fall out of CDH there. And so Thrasios Yoshimaru really brought me back into CDH. That deck was a lot of fun. It still is a lot of fun. And like
Mhm.
I feel like that should be the correct answer. But Stella Lee
I knew it. I
has
knew
really
it.
captured my heart
I knew it.
because at the end of the day, Thrasios Yoshimaru, while it's a great deck, it just I am a turbo player. I am a turbo player. I originally built Thrasios Yoshimaru to be like turbo devoted druid. You know, try to slam a devoted druid as fast as possible. Try to
Mhm.
slam that mana as fast as possible. And while I had fun playing it that way, it didn't feel like the best way to play it. So I slowed it down and made it into a more mid range grindy deck, which
That's
is
not
still
you.
fun if I'm going to play. Yeah, that's not me. If I'm going to play mid range, I'll play that deck. But I'm not a mid range player. So Stella Lee, man, that that deck just scratches the itch for me with the turbo. I love the turbo to it. I love the fact that like when I first saw her, like when I first experienced her, I didn't know what she was doing. I was like, "What the fuck's this deck doing?" And like that, and then I got completely walloped by the player who was playing Stoli, and like that really stuck with me. I was like, "Holy crap!" And then like the fact that I don't know, like I like the fact that I'm like trying to piece together, okay, how can I string these spells
Yeah.
together to be able to win? You know, and then being able to win at instant speed, being able to win over top of Orcish Bowmaster triggers, being able to win over top of Ristic Study triggers, being able to win over top of somebody else's win. Like I love that about the deck. It's so much fun. So yeah, I have to say Stella Lee is at the top. Stella Lee's number one. And then Thrasios Yoshimaru is definitely gonna be number two. Just because at the end of the day, I put a lot of like work into
Yeah.
that deck. I still very much enjoy it.
So
Still pay attention, especially now with how popular it's getting. It's getting
uh,
really popular out
it's
there in
gotten
the
super
community.
popular. That was all
And
over the tournament I just went to.
yeah,
Like everybody's playing it.
yeah, and so like it's really cool to me to see it getting popularity because I was playing it way back when like nobody was playing
Yeah.
it.
No,
And
I remember.
so to see it get popular.
It's funny
Yeah, to
because
see
I
it get
remember
popular
like playing with you, and you'd be like, "Oh, I'm that guy that's playing Thrasios Yoshimaru. I'm the weird guy. I'm the weird one not playing
yeah,
Rograk." And it's like, and it's like, no, like I totally
yeah,
saw why. Like it made so much sense. Like you have silence effects also with blue, and then you also have like all these really intricate wins you can
mhm,
do with the deck. With green and white, there's so many combos that and now it's like you go out, you walk out your door into a cEDH lobby, and it's just like it's a bunch of them now. And what's good for me is I'm like I've been playing against that
yeah,
deck for a year. I know what you guys are up to, so I
yeah,
appreciate you being on that for so long, and it's really cool seeing it kind of take off. And what a cool thing to get to be like, yeah, I did it. I was doing it before it was cool. That's always a cool thing to say.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
right?
trying to get Ketchamos to be a
I
cool
was
thing.
yeah, 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 I was cool before it was cool.
Yeah, it was
So,
cool before it was
yeah,
cool.
it's definitely
I get it.
Stella Lee and Thrasios Yoshimaru, and then I know it's early, but like my third deck, it has to be Krark Thrasios. I am
Yeah, you've been
absolutely in
on
love
that
with
deck
that
for a
deck.
minute now. Yeah,
I am in love with that deck. I love how that deck is playing. I love how stupid it is. I
yeah,
love the fact that again, I very much enjoy decks where I just like shut off my brain to what other I'm trying to do my thing.
yeah.
And like Kark Thrasios, it doesn't even run like I'm not even running Force of Will. So like it's so
That's
cool to just
wild.
be like
Well,
I'm
cause yeah, three colors, I
yeah.
guess. Less blue. You can't.
Well, you can't if you pitch a card to Force of Will and then Kark says, haha, bounce back to your hand, then you're like,
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
fuck.
Yeah,
So that deck's super fun. And then number 4 would be Kess. That was my original. That was that she'll just always have that place in my heart. I still think she's really fun.
hmm
And even now in the meta, my Kess build is slowed down a little bit. It's not quite super turbo, but it's not full on mid range. I really
right.
like where my deck is actually at right now. I think it's a lot of fun. Um, and then it'd be Tim the Dargo. Uh, I'm just gonna say right now, my Tim the Dargo list is not the correct it's not the correct way to play Tim the Dargo, honestly. There are so many other better Tim the Dargo pilots out there. There's other people who have called out about how my list is like not the correct way to play.
There's
And
never a
I'm
not
not
correct way to
going to tell
play
you that they're
this
wrong.
game. You
Yeah, I'm
can't
not going
be
to tell you they're
told this.
wrong and I'm right.
Right.
But it's the way I want to play the deck. I
Yeah.
like I like to be like, okay, cast Dargo, cast Sacrifice, cast Peer to the Abyss.
Yeah.
I
I
like
would say every
Atmos.
time you're casting
Like
Pure
I
in the
like
Abyss, almost every time we've ever played, it's Pure in the Abyss comes pretty quickly.
mhm. Yeah, exactly. And like that's how I like to play the deck. And then after that, I mean, I also have Rograk Rayhan together. I built that deck. I don't remember when. I don't really play it anymore, and I don't think I will be playing it anymore. Kark Thrasios kind of took over the
That niche,
spot that
that
it
spot.
had. Yeah, so I don't really think we'll be seeing Rograk Rayhan anymore on my channel. The deck was still it was fun, and like you said, it hurt your brain though a lot.
Yeah.
Out
It's
of
a
all the
fun
decks I
deck though.
played, that one hurt the brain the
I
most.
what's funny though is
Mhm.
I always win with it. Like I win with it a ton. But it's like always these super convoluted lines that you're going through, and then you take your time, and then you finally win, and it's great. Like I love that. But you're like trying to piece that whole puzzle together, and it's such a complicated deck, which I love that about it. It's very complicated. Um, which like Ketramos, like I didn't talk too deeply about each of my
Mhm.
decks, so I just want to give a shout out to Ketramos. That deck
Yeah, go ahead,
is
go ahead.
super fun to play. I love it because you're playing this weird game within a game. You're like, here's my life total, and you're just burning through it like gas, and you're like, how fast can I pay my life, but also like win this game, or am I risking too much life loss before I can win the game? Like you have to find this like weird balance of like life loss and going for it and like not going for it. But now that we have like voice of victories, like so many silence effects, you just jam into that deck and um in the tournament, like one, I love that deck because it has so many random cards nobody's ready for, like Fairy Macabre. Like I can't tell you how many people are like, I'm going for my breach line, and then I'm like, oh, you're casting breach. Let me. I'm gonna discard this Fairy Macabre. Eat that Lion's Eye Diamond. What else do you have there? Oh, gamble. I'll eat that gamble and Lion's Eye Diamond real quick before your breach hits the table. And they're just like, I can't. Oh. I'm like, wait, you what? They're like, I can't counter that. And I'm like, nope. It's discard ability. Got a stifle? Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
Just like things like that. Or
Yep.
I can't tell you how many games when I played at the tournament, like that card came in clutch like twice where somebody was going for it, and just super fun. Reanimate wins are always fun. Also just like trying to outdraw like Aristic Study with white black, it just makes my day. It's like things like that just make my day. But that deck's super fun. Just trying to get cards in the graveyard, discard outlet, exile as many things, draw through half your deck, kind of like Pure of the Abyss, and then just go for the win.
Mhm.
It's just super fun. Abdel lines are super fun. Really enjoy that deck. But I love that deck. But it's complicated. It hurts your brain.
Yeah.
It is one of those decks where if you're in a discard loop, like you can kill yourself on accident if you can't get out of it. At the tournament, I accidentally went into one and went to 6 life before I could sack Ketramos, and it hurt me so
Oof.
bad. And those things are what makes it fun. Like it's a really complicated deck, and I'm a big fan of those. And um, just trying to eke out that win, under a silence effect is just great. Plus, you have weird interaction that nobody's ever ready for.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, I think your Ketramos deck is really sick, and it's really fun to see it played.
Yeah, and it just hates out any red decks just because breed, like it's just exiles graveyards all day. So like any graveyard type of
Mhm.
deck at the table just sits down and goes, oh, and I'm like, well, like you're gonna get some hate for me on accident, like not even on purpose, like it's just gonna happen. So that's always really fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I gotta give a
I
shout out
believe
to,
now.
oh, I was one last
Sorry,
one. I
go.
gotta give a shout out to Atali. That deck was my first cEDH deck off of Teferi. When I finally came off Teferi, and I was like, I'm gonna build another deck. I built Atali, and that deck's so fun. I've always loved playing other people's decks, um, like stealing cards. I have a ton of casual decks where I steal like everybody's stuff and then I play it, or I like mine. What is it, like mine? There's something like mine something where you take people's turns. Like I used to loop that in my
Right.
Arcanist deck. Mine Slaver.
Mindslaver? I think
Mindslaver.
Mindslaver.
Yeah. So I used in my, like I was telling you when I used to play in those tournaments, I my win con, one of them was just a loop of Mindslaver where I just continuously take everybody's turn at the table until I win the game. And nothing makes me happier than just playing other people's cards and trying to put that puzzle together. So Atali, big shout out to Reptar. That's what I call it, my Reptar deck. But yeah, that deck's super fun. And you just like go for it on turn one. And like you said, there's nothing like just going for it on turn 1 or 2 and just saying, "Did I do
Mhm.
it? Did I win?" Like nobody can stop me. I'm in seat
Did I
one.
get
Those are so
did I
fun.
get there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
turn one, seat one, treasonous ogre is never a bad time.
No.
What is your favorite color in Magic and why?
Ooh, so my favorite color in Magic and why? Are we talking just we're just talking the favorite monocolor, we're not talking,
Just
like, color
favorite mono,
combination,
yeah,
right?
just monocolored. We can do that one after. But yeah, favorite color that just like speaks to you.
You know it would have to be black. It would have to be black, which I know that at this point, not too many of my decks actually have black in 'em anymore.
Mhm.
Tim the Dargo and Kess are the only ones really. But like when I first started playing Magic, I mean, I started out with, red deck wins. Mono red burn is the easiest way to learn
It's
how
the
to
way
play
to get into
Magic.
the game, yeah.
Um,
Everybody I ever got into
but
Magic in, like, Standard or Modern, I was just like, "Here, play this $90 deck, like, you're gonna have a blast. Just try killing
yeah,
people
yeah,
fast."
yeah. Here, play red deck wins, which also probably alludes to why I'm turbo because that's how I start. But
Mhm,
regardless, I quickly got off of that and got onto like this black reanimator strategy,
mhm,
and um, I've just always enjoyed the reanimator strategy. It's not really a majorly viable one in cEDH right now, which is a shame. But like in my days of casual, I was very heavy in Reanimator and Aristocrats decks.
mhm.
Those were my favorite decks to play. It was always like black and something.
Yep,
Um, so I think I would have to say it's black just because like again, and it's not even like I'm not even gonna sit here because like, oh, I love the powerful tutors and no, it was always just like I always enjoyed the reanimation idea. I like the idea of what black is, this idea of like really trading your life for something, like using everything at your disposal as a resource, your life, your graveyard, your deck, like everything, your creatures, like everything is a resource to be used. And to me, like that's black, and I just enjoy that idea about
yeah.
the color black.
That's awesome.
So how
Yeah.
about you?
I side note, I just want to say you mentioned Reanimator, and I have to tell you about my crazy win at the Land Go that I did a Reanimator loop with. Somebody
Oh
at
yeah?
the others, like across from me, went for a win with what's the squirrel that eats the makes a food token off the like a Dryad Arbiter or something in the grave?
Oh, the Hazel's Brewmaster
Hazel's
and Devoted
Brewmaster.
Druid.
Yes. So they
Mhm,
went for that combo and they cast Hazel Brewmaster, but it got countered and went into their graveyard
mhm,
when they already pitched Devoted Druid early in the game, and it's like turn two that they went for it. Or no, turn three, and I was in seat four. It got finally back to me, and I cast a Voice of Victory on my second turn, and it was literally like
mhm,
land, Voice of Victory, and then I play a land, reanimate their guy to eat the devoted
mhm.
druid out of their graveyard because it doesn't specify your own graveyard. And I had Walking Ballista in hand, and I infinite mana Walking Ballista killed the table on turn three. Just
Oh
on
my god,
and I
that's
had not a good hand. I went down to like six cards. It was just like three land, a reanimate, and walking ballista, and I was like, whatever, I'll try this. And voice of victories. So I was like, oh, I'll do this. At least I'll have a turn two voice of victories. End up winning the entire game off of reanimating
that's
somebody else's win con that they set up, and
that's
nobody was ready
awesome.
for it.
That's
Everybody's just like,
awesome.
what? Wait, and somebody tried to counter me on there. I was like, voice of victories. They're like, oh man, you got it. And we all just laughed because it was the wildest win. But yeah, what I love reanimator wins. I'm now on the train. Once I built Catcher Mouse, that was the first real reanimator lines that I started really playing. But yeah, for me, I would have to say blue. I'm a control player at heart. I've always been a control player at heart. That's why I play Death and Taxes. It's a little more Staxy control, but yeah, like Death and Taxes, things like that. Love blue,
Mhm.
love countering things. I feel like I have a really good like counter, like knowing when to counter, when not to counter, when to sit on things. I feel like I read the table really well on counters. Always have. So love that. Love bouncing things, not killing them. I think bouncing is fun too, especially with things that like untap lands, and you can really break loops and things like that. And then who doesn't like to draw cards? So um,
Yeah.
yeah, blue is always the thing that speaks to me, just based on like I love stacks, I love control, I love trying to control a game, even when I'm not playing blue. Like Balloon Man is like a weird control deck, and people whenever I bring it to a tournament, people always make fun of me, and they're like, "Oh, the freaking Boros control deck again like stops the person from winning," and
Yeah.
it's like, Yep, that's me sitting on pyroblast. Nobody's ready for it, or like silencing people when they try to go for it, or like things like that. So it's really fun to try to play blue
Mhm.
outside of blue. So I'm always trying to do that.
Oh man, that's awesome. I love that. Well, I mean, you asked me about favorite color. We kind of alluded to it, so I'll pose out to you. What's your favorite color combination in Magic?
So like I'd have to just say as like two colors. I think I just have to say like as a competitor, I think black blue. It gives you access to Thassa's decon like that. It gives you control. It gives you search. Um, I love black and blue together. I think those pairs go really well. And then if you throw a little white in there, yeah, I think that's the three I would go with. But for two, I'd say black and blue. For three, I'd say black, blue, white. Silence effects are great,
Mhm.
and that's just from a competitor. I think
Ah,
black, white, blue.
yeah,
What about you?
yeah, absolutely. It's funny you say. Well, real quick, I want to say you say about black blue. I remember back when you were playing Malcolm Francisco
Dude, I love that deck.
as the Demir deck.
Dude,
Dude, that you said
that
about
deck
black blue, I
slaps.
was like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Oh, no, yeah."
Yeah,
That deck slapped.
that
That was
deck's
fun to
great.
see.
And there's nothing like playing a Mind Crank. I love that deck. Just playing Mind Crank. I finally was like, that deck's apart. So I put Mind Crank in Deadpool because I was like, this seems like just a wild card that should be in a Deadpool deck. So just Mind Crank and like Blood Chief's Ascension is just such a silly way to win a game. Like it just feels
Yeah,
so awesome when you're like, you got to
yeah.
cast something and you put it in your graveyard and you're dead.
Yep,
Like,
yep, yep. Yeah, so, I mean, for me, so for anybody who's eagle-eyed or who has met me in person, you'll notice, and I'll show it right here, I have the tattoo.
oh yeah.
Um, that's the Golgari that's a Golgari symbol right there. I got that back, in my days of playing heavy casual, which I don't do anymore, and I know I don't really play Golgari in CDH. But like that's tough because like the nostalgia in me wants to say Golgari because like
Yeah.
over all my time of playing Magic, just in general, over all my time of playing Magic, I had the most fun playing in black green, like playing that weird reanimator aristocrat
Mhm.
style that black green really lends itself towards. Um, messing around with your graveyard a lot. And I've always
Yeah.
just loved, like, even beyond the colors, I've loved the theme, like the theme of the Golgari Guild, the theme of the Witherbloom School from Strixhaven. Like, I've always just loved that theme of like death, life, rebirth, rot, regrowth type of
Yeah.
stuff. Um, the theme of that. So, like, that stuff has always stuck heavily with me. But like in terms of like today, for two color, it's going to be Is It. In
Okay.
terms of like where I'm at
Yeah.
today, it would be Is It.
Yeah.
It'd be blue red. Um, I enjoy, I also enjoy the spell slinger strategy. I enjoy the idea of like, oh, I cast this, which triggers all this. Draw three cards. Okay, now I'll cast this and trigger all this. And like, I always love like these massive stack battles
Yeah.
in cEDH. So like doing spell slinger stuff, doing storm stuff, and then I mean, if we're going for three color, um, it'd probably just have to be Grixis,
Hmm.
just do the spell slinger storm strategy and add a little bit of black in there for some cool tutors and everything, and
Yeah.
you're solid, you're good to go.
I agree. Those are great colors.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we kind of went over colors. What is your all-time favorite Magic card? Like the one
Okay.
single card that like defines your Magic like love. What is that one card that you're just like that card has always just been my favorite? It doesn't have to be a CDH card, just like that one card that you're like, man,
Hold up.
I just love this card.
So I want to take a quick pause right here and
Yeah.
say, for people who think they know me, I want you to comment in the video below what you think I'm about to say,
Yeah, let's
because
see below. What do you
I
guys think is his favorite
we'll
card
see
in all
it
of Magic?
because
Non-banned.
I think it. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious, and I don't think it will come as any surprise when I tell you that that card is ad nauseum,
Mm,
100%. I love ad nauseum. I love
okay.
that card. I love that card so much.
Yeah.
Not just because like it's powerful, which honestly in this day and age, I feel like in this meta, ad nauseum's really kind of
It's
fallen out of
I
favor
I've
almost.
taken it out of so many decks. Like people yell at me for my Ketramos deck. They're like, "Why are you not an Adnos?" I'm like, "Too much life I'm already paying. Like, what am I gonna Adnos for
Yeah.
13 life? Like, I can't just keep paying life. Like, I'm already paying too
Yeah.
much life. I can't just keep paying more life."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But like, for me, I mean, it's just again, it's that using everything as a
Mhm.
resource. At to me, ad nauseum is the epitome of your life as a
Yeah.
resource. Like that was this is how you use your life as a resource card.
And like
And
understanding your deck and
I would love to play ad nauseum. Mhm. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say understanding your deck and like how far you can go on an Adnos, right? Like you have to be like, all right, I have a couple 8 drops. Maybe I have like one something big drop. Like I know where I can go. Like don't want to flip off something that's too big, or kind of having to really know your deck to burn through it like that
Yeah.
is like a cool aspect of it.
I would I would love to build a casual deck that's just like try to gain a shit ton of life and then cast it ad
Adnos your whole
nauseam,
deck,
which is
just just Beacon of
well, not like
Immortality
ad
into Adnos and just pay like
well, not even
68 life.
yeah, yeah, like, not even, like, doing that, like, just being able to go, like, "Okay, I have 250 life," or, like, not even something crazy like that, be like, "Okay, I have 112 life. Alright, here's that 8 drop, here's that 5 drop, here's this 4 drop, here's this 7 drop, here's this 6 drop." Like, I would love to play Ad Nauseam casual, even though I know that, A, I don't play casual, B, casual people would hate me for playing that
Yeah, they're
card,
like, hey, you can't
and
play that.
C
Yeah.
yeah. But, I mean, that's mine. What about you? What's your all-time favorite Magic card?
My all-time favorite Magic card forever, and I don't think anything will ever top it, is Aether Vial. I used to collect Aether Vials
Mhm.
as a kid. I had a whole binder full of Aether Vials. I love that card. Something about cheating in cards that should never be allowed to be cheated in on other people's turn just is something that I love. Like I said, I played a lot of Death and Taxes and Hate Bears in Modern and Legacy, or Vintage, and Legacy, and
Mhm.
there's nothing better than like Aether vialing out like a Dryad Arbiter on like turn when it's a 0. You can just throw a land into play. Then going into turn 2, putting a counter on it, Aether vialing in like a 1 drop that is like helpful for whatever reason. And then once you get to 2, like especially in like Modern, then you start really like screwing with people. You can start flashing in like Leonin Arbiter, which you can't search unless you pay 2. So you just sit there and go, "Oh, you cracked your fetch. Respond. Can you pay 2? No, you can't. You don't get to fetch. Sorry. Can you counter this? No, you can't. I put it into play. You have to respond to me activating it." So like, it's just such a fun like card. Flicker Wisp is the one that I used to get judges called on me nonstop because Flicker Wisp states when it enters the battlefield, exile a permanent until the next end step. So if you do it on your end step, you Aether Vial and Flickerous on your end step, you can hit one of their lands or a creature or whatever, and it leaves the entire time until they end their turn. Then their land comes back. So like you can just like off tempo people. I just love Aether Vial. I've tried to sneak it into cEDH decks or EDH decks, and even in like standard non cEDH, like it's just not a great top deck late game. So I can't play it, but I love that card in 60 card format. That card is the holy grail for me. I love that card.
That's awesome. I love that. That's hot. That's great. That's great. Aether Vial. Man, I forgot about that
That
card.
card is
Holy
so
cow. It's
broke.
been a
I
hot
so good. I have 4 of them just sitting here
dude.
wanting to play. I don't play like Modern anymore or anything, but like I would love to just show up at a Modern tournament with my Modern deck that hasn't been edited in forever and just see what happens.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Well, I mean, we kind of been on the topic of like favorites and everything. Here, let's I kind of want to throw a wrench into that.
Yeah.
What is the deck you hate seeing? The deck you hate playing against the most? Like, I'm not like trying to draw anything negative out there,
Hmm,
not
hmm.
trying to be like negative Nancy or anything. But, like, we all have, like
Nadu?
I feel like we all Dadu,
Dude,
RIP,
Nadu is the
RIP.
worst thing to play. Like, I swear every time I played against Nadu, I would go to kill Nadu and they'd be like, "Oh crap." And they'd be like, "Let's see what's off the top." "Oh, it's Fierce Guardianship." "Yeah, I'll put that in my hand. I counter your thing." I'm just like, every time? Does it have to be every time it's a free counter spell for Nadu? Every time. That deck I hated
See,
playing against. And I
I
don't
don't know
hate
for me.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
hate playing against many decks. Like, I love decks that I don't like playing against. I love to play against those decks. Like, a lot of people see a deck and they're like,
Mhm,
"Wait, I'm gonna change decks." Like that deck new like doesn't let me do my thing, right? And like that happens all the time. I'll see a deck that I'm like, that hurts me bad, but like, I can't wait to try to figure out how I win against your
mhm.
deck that's gonna shut me down like really hard this game. Like, let me see if I can pull this out. So like, I don't know. I always love looking across the table and seeing a deck that is like my arch rival nemesis. And then it's like, all right, can I
Mhm.
win this game? Like, let's see if I can put it to the test.
I gotta step in here and say, because, like, I don't know, it had to have been, like, a unique experience for me, or maybe it's the decks that I was playing, but for that stint where Nadu was around, I was not afraid of that deck. I I won against it more times than
Yeah.
I
Oh,
lost,
yeah. I
and,
didn't lose
like
against it all the time. It's just when they did win, it was like 40 minutes of me just sitting there. Like that's what I didn't like
yeah,
about it. But I also didn't like that they
that's fair.
the moment you try to interact with it, they just flip something off.
Yeah, I think that goes again to me. I was never trying to interact with Nadu. I was just trying to win
Trying to
before they
win.
went
Yeah,
for
just
it.
win before they do it. Yeah.
Just win before they do.
Yeah.
Um,
It's easy.
that's fair though.
Yeah. What's your deck?
So, I asked you that question because I thought it'd be a fun question, and now I'm sitting here and thinking to myself, I can't really like sit there and point to any one deck that I would be like, "Oh, man," you know? There's certain decks where if I see it, I'm gonna be a little hesitant because, like, certain pilots make or break that deck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Krark
Croc
Sakashima
Shakashima.
is
I was
kind of a
just
big
gonna
one.
say Croc Shakashima. Like, if you're playing a good
Like
Shakashima player, like it's fine. If you're playing somebody that's like, I just started with
mhm,
this deck, it's like, oh, like here we go.
yeah, and, like, I know I just started out with Krark Thrasios, so, like, I can understand the frustration for people. It stinks for the person who's trying the deck because
Yeah,
they have to struggle early until they get there, but
yeah,
nobody wants to play against you when you're doing that early
yeah,
struggle. And I'm definitely feel like I'm getting there to the point where it's not that big of a deal. But like it's not even, like you said, it's not just the deck, it's the pilot. Like if I'm playing against a Kirk Sakashima person and I see them sit down and they have their deck, they have their commander. They don't have any dice. I don't see any tokens. I don't see any pieces of paper that say the word trigger on them or anything that like represent mana. Like, I'm not trying to be offensive, but I know that this is going to be rough.
yeah.
But, like, when you sit down and you're the correct Sakashima player, they sit down and are like, "Okay, here's my commanders, here's my
Here's my
deck, here's a
tokens. Here's my
graveyard,
dice.
here yeah, here's my red mana card, here's my blue mana card, here's my colorless mana card, here's my Kark tokens, here's my treasure tokens, here they put out, like, 6 dice, and I'm like, "Okay, I feel better about this." Because,
But
like, you know so, I mean, but I love Kirk Sakashima. I love the deck. I think the deck's really fun. So, like, I don't hate it at all. I guess if I had to pick something, it's probably that one just because of, like we said, the pilot,
yeah,
the unknown pilot.
and that
But,
just
like, if
comes
it's
with people needing to like goldfish it, right? Like, if you're gonna
Mhm,
play Kark Shakashima, like goldfish the crap out of it before your first game, so you like understand the nuances of like what a storm count feels like, what rolling the dice, or if you do dice or coin, whatever it's gonna be like. Figure out what you're gonna do every time and like have that down. So like I once played a
yeah.
guy that was like changing like heads or tails throughout the game, and he was like, this time I'm gonna do heads, this time I'm gonna do tails, this time heads, and it was like we're good. Like if you just let us know at the beginning and then just do it, especially if you're going into like
Yeah.
a lot. Like And I
Yeah,
get like sometimes people are like heads, 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 and they're like, wait, now I'm gonna do tail, like I'm switching to tails or something like that because they keep missing. Like, yeah, but
yeah,
it's just like
and
figure it
it's
out.
fair. It's fair and it's totally within their right to be able to switch, but like
Yeah,
it definitely just makes it more streamlined for everybody. If you're like, okay, I'm gonna roll a die, odds will always be a tail, evens will always be a head, you
yeah.
know,
Then we don't
and
we don't have to question
you
it.
know,
You just keep doing it, and we're like good, good,
yeah,
good.
mhm,
It makes the game go faster. So what's funny is I think both of our answers comes down to like yeah, it's not the deck as much as like who's running it, I guess. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not, I play Atali. So
yeah,
there's games where I'll go 35 minutes and finally eke out the win. So like I get it. And I can't imagine how like annoying it is to be on the other side like flip another card. All right, you have six more Atali triggers. All right, that okay, now you're copying it again on top of those. So now we have these triggers and like so like I've been playing Atali for a while now, and I goldfish the crap out of it. So like, I have my tokens; they're all ready with all the most popular cards. I can just throw Wish Claw down. I'm not, usually I don't have to draw every card except for like the newer ones. But like, yeah, just it's about preparation. Like, if you're gonna play decks like that,
yeah,
you have to have the preparation.
mhm,
Like I got all of them. Wish Claw. I don't know what that is. Necropotence with a guy. Like Cutzel. You got a Cutzel just ready. So like it's about being ready. Oh, this is my favorite. Oh no, here's my Storm Drake. But it's Drake the Rapper. You gotta.
oh my god,
But like you just it's about being prepared. It's about being the Croc Shima player that has their color tokens and their dice ready, so they know they're gonna do this at some point, and it's gonna be a long loop. And your goal
mhm,
is to make it as the least amount of like everybody sitting there playing on their phones until you're like, are you done? So like, and
yeah,
and those decks, like I respect those decks because like those decks should exist, like loops and storms. I'm about to start playing Vivi, so like I've been play testing it. I've seen that deck. I've seen people take like 20-minute turns on that deck. So as soon as I get it on paper, I've been goldfishing it on Moxfield. I'm like ready to go. Can't wait to get it on paper and
yeah,
start doing the storm counts and things like that. But like I know when I first start doing it, I'm gonna be that person we're talking about. People are gonna be like, oh, Brad's playing Vivi, like he just started playing it.
uh,
He's casting a bunch of zero drops and wheeling us 9 times, then taking extra turns. Like, I get it. So it comes with like just that's why this game's awesome. Is just learning the decks is like
mhm,
a huge part of it. Even like complicated decks like Nadu, like the people that had like the Nadu tokens that were like one targeted one time, targeted 2 times, and they'd put them in different piles, and they do it super quick as they go through
mhm,
it. Like, I love that. I was like, oh, cool. Like, you're gonna do your whole
mhm,
Nadu turn in like 8 minutes, and I'm fine with that.
yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. All
Well, cool.
right, I believe you're up.
All right. Well, I I ran out of all the questions that I had ready for you. Um, is there any other
I actually
questions you had?
I ran out of questions. That last question was one that I just kind of thought while I was sitting
Yeah.
there. I was like, "Oh, we've been talking about the good things." Let's,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I guess like to close it, like as we come to a closing here, first off, congratulations on 1 year. Like this is not an easy thing to be editing. Like we both have lives, like outside of magic.
yes,
You would never, imagine, but yeah, we do. So being able to like every week have a video up and going, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and congratulations on hitting 1 year. Like that's really awesome, and you've grown so much in 1 year. Like you've gotten such a big following.
yeah.
Your Discord's always popping off. People are playing games all the time. Like you've built a wonderful community. So congratulations to you. I want to say, first and foremost, on the 1 year. It's been awesome growing with you.
Thank you. Thank you. And absolutely, again, you beat me to it, but congratulations to you as well. Your Discord also as well. I love the community you have there. That's the thing that we both have done, and we haven't done a lot lately as our lives would be getting busier. It's like our play days and stuff. I keep thinking to myself, I need to get another play day up, and then I'm looking at my calendar. I'm like, crap, 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 crap. Okay, I guess a month. I guess a month from now.
Yeah.
Like, but like joining in with each other's play days and like seeing the communities, seeing the community in your Discord has been really cool. And again, like I said, for congratulations to you, and thank you as well for being like the person who gave me that tipping unknowing tipping point
Yeah.
into getting into content
Yeah, I had no
creation.
idea.
I
That was
can
the first time I learned that was today. So that's kind of cool.
yeah, I can credit 3 people for it. I can really credit 3 people for it. The first person I would credit for would be Dylan from Play to Win. Right when I was falling out of cEDH, my friends were like, "Hey, are you going to the Play to Win tournament?" I was like, I don't know." I was like, "I don't even have any deck and everything." And they're like, "Yo, you should really go with us." And so I looked up, and some people had dropped out, so there was an opening, so I was able to get in, which was lucky as hell as it is.
Yeah.
Because normally those openings fill up and they don't open back up again.
Right.
So, but I went up there and talked to Dylan a lot about just like playing cEDH and like the play to win Discord and like content creation and stuff. And like that gave me the push to get out there into the play to win Discord and playing online with people. And then I met the second person, you. I met, you online, and you really like I said, you made me realize that it really can just be that easy in terms of getting games. It's just playing with these random people who I've never
Hmm.
met and be like, hey, is it okay if I record? Is it okay if I record? And that was really a big push for me. And then the third person, obviously, is my amazing girlfriend. She really has supported me through all of this. She's really willingly sacrificed a lot of our time together so I could
Yeah.
be doing this stuff. And I really appreciate her for it and her understanding. And again, she was the one who really pushed me. She's like, "Well, if you want to do it, you should do it." And it's been awesome. It's been awesome ever since. It's been a grind,
Yeah.
but it's been really awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. And like that's the biggest thing, like support. Like to have the outside support of your girlfriend, like that's
Mhm.
awesome. I think that's really awesome that she's pushed you and into this and supports you along the way. Yeah, so I guess we'll end it here, and I just want to say thank you so much, Matt, for coming on. We've grown
Absolutely.
so much over these years, like over this 1 year. I said years, but it's because I already know there's going to be more to come after this. But we've both grown
Yes.
so much. Our discords have grown so much. A lot of wonderful people. Thank you so much to everybody watching this video. It's been one whole year of CEH content, and it's wild to think about how far we've come. The editing, I went back. I was with the guys at Double Sleeve MTG. We started watching like first recorded games while we were hanging out
Oh,
at Land Go, and it was crazy to see how much like I've grown. Obviously, like, getting a new mic instead of like a headset mic, and getting like better camera, like, and then also adding like the cards. You inspired me to start adding cards into my videos and like things like that, where it's just like wow, it's so different. And then I used to not cut anything, so it was just like the whole game all talking, just the whole game, cut the front, cut the back, put it out there, and there was like hour, 2 hour videos. So came a long way. So thank you so much to everybody for the year. Shout out to my patrons. I want to give a shout out to Bakerman, Savage, and Rumble Pack, and even Cousin Two Chains coming at the dollar tier. Love it. Goblin. Um, thank you guys so much for all your support. Everybody watching this video, everybody smash that like button. Let's get some comments. Want to hear some comments, thoughts of
mhm.
people. What were you doing a year ago? Who are you watching? How many more content creators out there are you watching than you were a year ago? Was it just play to win? And now you got Matt, myself, tons of other great content creators out there that are putting out really cool, fun decks that you might not see all the
Mhm.
time in the current meta. So thank you again, Matt. I really appreciate you coming on.
Yes. Thank you for having me on.
All right, we'll catch you guys on the next one. See you guys later.